she do back and forth all around the block. Where's the chair? Live on YouTube. So to say. Ow.
We'll be delayed by like 20 or 30 seconds on YouTube.
Yeah, we are. Get out there. Go put some socks and shoes on. We're gonna work out when I get done with this.
All right. Someone's already in.
You're famous.
That is what that means. Oh, shoot. My phone finna die. Hey, mama. Never mind, I got it. I got this little Zoom meeting to do right now, though. Can I borrow that charger?
Are you on it right now?
What would that sound like?
I don't know.
Oh, it's back in my cell phone.
Where's Kendrick's charger?
I don't know. This one's not as fast.
I know, but like Kendrick's charger will help you.
Because only I.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just back in.
Only pros Maxes can get it. Popcorn for dinner.
You said popcorn for dinner, sir?
Watch out, this is on phone.
Talk educated.
Ronnie, you're sideways now.
Uh-oh.
No cussing.
Can I unlock my screen and that work? Is that out?
Yeah, there you go. Now it's good.
Marquez.
Wow.
I asked you to get the trash.
Did you?
Yeah, you just walked right away.
Do you want us to switch off answering questions, or are you just gonna delete it? Like, okay. My bad.
Kelsey was asking me something. You guys can just switch who answers first. You can answer them all. I don't think it'll take us that long. I mean, there's quite a few questions, but I don't think either of you are going to give like 25-minute dissertations on anything.
Can if you want me to.
I mean, you do whatever you want.
All right, cool.
But I did give them to you ahead of time, so you weren't surprised by anything.
Yeah, I looked at them. They're hard.
You can be as detailed as you would like to be.
All I want is a silent room in this home.
Ooh.
Hard to find. Hard to come by.
That's all I want. That's why I went outside with my phone and
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
here.
Did you like this year's uniforms better than last year's uniforms?
Parkdale.
Yeah,
They were pretty sweet this year.
I agree. I don't know if I liked them better though.
I don't remember what they were before.
Our uniforms?
They were the same as ours.
Yeah.
Nah, this year's was better than ours. Our white ones were pretty sweet though.
I like the black in these.
Yeah, I'm about to say theirs was dope because they had black though.
Yeah.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we hear you.
I can't hear you all of a sudden. I don't know what happened.
So that's unfortunate.
Ron, did school get easier since you went online?
I mean, nah, not for real. Cause for me, all my schoolwork stuff is like writing papers and stuff. Cause I'm doing all this creative writing mess.
Yeah.
So for me, if anything, it got harder because I wasn't able to talk to the teachers for real. I
Yeah.
was sitting there just writing papers. Like I wrote a
Brandon, you
whole
can still
paper.
hear me?
I used to hear you.
I can't hear you
I
though.
hear him too.
You can't hear Ronnie?
No, I don't think he can hear you.
Josh,
Can you hear me, Coach? No, he can't hear either one of us. All right.
He can't hear anything.
I wonder if he leaves and comes back. That's what I had to do earlier. I was on this with my teacher, and I had to leave and come back.
Yeah.
Or if I leave and come back, I'm gonna leave and come back.
All right. Can you hear me? He can't hear anything. Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome to Park Hill Football.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
What the band-aid
Here you are.
There we go. Okay, good.
Now that's what I called your band-aid.
What you need that big old band-aid for? You have a little scrape.
Yeah, that feels better.
You wasn't ready for it to burn like that, was you?
No, you are. Didn't bring that back. But now I'm burning it.
All right, go ahead.
The classic headphones.
Nah, bro, she fell off her bike.
Oh no.
So you know how you gotta put the alcohol on it, the rubbing alcohol to make it to where, you know what I'm saying, you don't get
Infection?
no nasty, yeah. It's I don't think she knew that it was gonna burn.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, Coach.
My AirPods are not connecting correctly, so. All right. I'm going to give you guys 3 random questions, and then I'm going to start with the actual presentation.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
Question 1. Either of you can start. Where's your go-to fast food place?
Chipotle.
I would say probably McDonald's or Cane's.
All right. Question 2. What is the best thing about Manhattan or Ann Arbor? Obviously for both of you.
Go ahead, Ron.
Probably just the whole football, everything we do around football. Game days. Specifically.
The best thing about Manhattan is it is a relatively small town at times, and it's not relatively small at other times. So like you can make it feel like it's a big city, you make it feel like it's a small town, which I like.
Perfect. And then last question before we actually start. What's your favorite Kansas City restaurant?
Luffy's.
Who?
Luffy's.
Where's that at?
Catfish. It's downtown. There's a bunch of them. Going to Independence as well. The one in Independence is the one I usually go to.
Arthur Bryant's for me.
All right. All right. So we're gonna get started here. Week 2. Last week we did a little what it takes to play at the next level with Coach Brown from the Jets. This week I am joined by 2 of our former players, Randen Plattner and Ronnie Bell. Randen Plattner, 2018 graduate of Park Hill, was a member of the football and golf team. Is now a member of the Kansas State football program, major in mechanical engineering. He redshirted in 2018. In 2019, he started all 13 games as the long snapper for field goal and PAT. He was 67 on his snaps in 2019. And they had a long of 42. This picture over here is him and the kicker and their massive punter that was their holder. And he was also a first-team All Big 12 academic this year. Also joined by Ronnie Bell, also a 2018 graduate of Park Hill, football and basketball player, currently enrolled in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, which you might have to explain to us what that is. In 2018, his freshman year at Michigan, he played in all 13 games. He had 8 catches for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. This year, he started in 10 games, played in all 13. He led the team with 48 catches, had 758 yards and 1 touchdown. Man, you got to get him to throw to you in the red zone more. And last year, his freshman year, he was named the Michigan Rookie of the Year. And this year, he was All Big Ten honorable mention. So I appreciate you guys joining us. Got a series of questions here for you. Kind of the reason we're doing this is just to kind of reach our families and our kids right now, because obviously things are very different for us. So I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to help us out and give back to your school. So first question is, and we can just go back and forth. Ronnie, you can start the first one, and then Randen, you can start the second one. Just what's your favorite thing about college football? Ronnie?
He's muted.
Ronnie, you know you're muted.
There it is. My favorite. How long I was muted for?
Quite a while.
Right. My favorite is definitely just the whole week leading up to the games, and then game day. Just you introduce to your opponent, their personnel and everything early in the week, and then you start to break them down piece by piece throughout the week. And then game day is just to just run out there in the stadium around all the fans and just just be locked in and everything like that. Like everything about that atmosphere is just very exciting. It's probably my favorite thing.
All right, Randen, same question.
I agree. Game day is something that you can't put into words, really. Anywhere, away game, home game, I think that makes a lot of things that you do in the offseason worth it.
All right. Second question, Randen, you can start this one. What's your least favorite thing about college football? And then Ronnie, you can follow up after Randen.
Least favorite thing, I love working out, but sometimes the running it gets to you a little bit. I'm not as agile as Ron is, but so that's a running. But it's something you got to do. So once you put your head down and figure out what it takes for you to like mentally get through it, then you're fine.
Ronnie, least favorite thing about playing college football?
My least favorite thing would probably be that just the number of games. There's only like at most like 15 games, I think, and then you got like a whole 365 of training and all that. So like just the number of games. I wish there was more.
Okay, good answer. All right, so we're going to go into a little series here. These are all very similar questions, but I think this will probably be most beneficial, especially for a lot of our kids watching. So the first question is, from an academic standpoint, going to class every day, what's the biggest difference between your college classes and your high school classes?
I would say the biggest difference is the workload. In high school, for the most part, it was very easy. Just you have like maybe 1-2 assignments like a week for a class. And then like in college, you have like 10, 15 a week for a class. So just the workload, not necessarily the difficulty of it, but just how much of it there is.
Randen, same question.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's more to do, but I also think that college they know that you're grown, so like they're not going to hold your hand. There's a lot of, they're not going to hold your hand unless you ask them to hold your hand, and then if you ask them for help, then they'll help you. It's not going to be outwardly given to you because you're going to be expected to figure some things out on your own.
Perfect. So more work and more accountability on your behalf. Teachers aren't going to seek you out to see if you need help. You've got to do it yourself.
Mhm.
Next question, very similar. What's the biggest difference between college and high school meetings? And I mean football meetings. Like, in high school, we meet after school every day, not much on the weekend. Walk us through the difference between that and what you guys go through now.
Meetings in high school where there wasn't that many. If you think there's a lot now, there's a lot more in college, and I think they're more meaningful, if that makes sense. So like you'll get through, a coach will spend like 5 minutes on a single play, watching one person and over and over again and critique everything, and you can't like take that personally. Like you gotta see what they're saying and then accept it and then move on. Like they're longer, there's more of them, and they're more meaningful. I'd say that's the difference.
Ronnie, same question.
Yeah, I think in high school throughout like the 4 years of watching film or whatever, I think I probably had the same notebook that I used if I was taking notes and when I was taking notes. And throughout my first 2 years of college, I think I've used like 10 notebooks throughout these meetings. So just the level of detail in the notes that I have is just way more, I guess, just way more information being put on me.
Okay. I think this will be a little bit of a shock to some of us. What's the biggest difference between the training that you did at Park Hill and the training at your respective school now? So the weights, the conditioning, the mat drills, all that stuff.
For the most part, the training itself is not too different. I think there's just more of it. I think it's just like longer periods of time, and like there's more days or whatever that we're training than there was in high school. Like in high school, I think it was like once we work out like 6 a.m. or whatever every day over the summer or something like that. And then like it was only like an hour and a half or however long it was. And then like in college now it's every day for like 2.5 hours or something like that. So it's just like not necessarily the workouts themselves are different, but it's a lot longer of a period of time.
Randen?
Yeah, time for sure. I think if you total up the amount of running I did for 4 years at Park Hill, I surpassed that in 1 year in college. It's just a different world and a higher caliber of everything. So once you're introduced and like know what's going to happen, then I think you have it under your belt for 1 year, then you're fine. But getting over that hump is what a lot of people struggle with, I think.
Okay. On the same question, do you guys think that your actual weights in the weight room are more specific, or they're very similar, or just give me a little bit on that?
I would say it's a lot more specific in college. We do all kinds of different testing to see what muscles we need to work on or excel at and whatnot. And so then coach does a good job of dictating our workouts and splitting us up into groups and categorizing us into different people that need to work on this, this, and that, and working certain muscles and whatnot that we need to work.
Brandon?
Yeah. So we had, I don't know how many coaches to a weight room in high school, but so on our weight room, there's like a coach to every 6 or 9 guys. Like he'll watch every single rep you do the whole time and then make sure you're doing it right, which I think is beneficial because they're also going to push you more directly, like one-on-one. If one person's going, that coach is going to see you and be able to encourage you to do more reps or more weight or whatever it may be.
Perfect. All right, next question. Biggest difference between your college football games and your high school games? And you guys have played in a lot of games at both levels. So what do you think is the biggest difference?
The number of people, but I typically don't try to pay attention to that. I just kind of block that out of my mind. High school games were a lot of fun because you had a lot of your friends there and like cheering for you and stuff, and you knew a lot of people in the stands. In college, you know your family and maybe some friends, and then most of your friends are on the sideline with you. So but sheer numbers and loudness and everything, volume, there's a lot of differences. It's just bigger and better.
Okay. Ronnie, same question. Biggest difference between high school and college games?
The biggest difference, first of all, is the fans. There's way more people at the games in college than there was in high school. And then just being out in the field, just the level of athlete of everybody you're around. In high school, very rarely there was probably like a handful of guys, like 5 maybe at the time on the field that were like freaks, but like now everybody's a freak. So just the level of athlete you're around at all times.
All right, I have 2 follow-up questions to your answer. So, number one, the thing that I always hear, and you guys can both attest to this, the biggest difference has to do with speed of the people and of the game. Do you both agree with that?
Yes.
And you kind of said that by talking about the player. And then I'm going to throw this one at you. What's the best stadium, since you both mentioned fans, what's the best stadium you've played in at this point that is not your own? Because I know that you're going to say your own, which you should. So we'll just go ahead and say that your home stadium is the best, but what's the next best?
Playing at Texas was really cool. They house 100,000 fans. I don't think all the sound was true fan sound, but that was a cool atmosphere to be in.
Okay, Ronnie?
Definitely either Penn State whiteout this year, that night game, or what's it called, Ohio State my freshman year. One of those, both of those stadiums that day or those days were very, very impressive.
Perfect. All right, next question. Talk us through just a typical day in your life during your season as a college football player. So just pick a random day of the week, not game day, and just kind of walk us through what your day looks like. Randen, you go first.
Okay. So I'd wake up on a Wednesday, let's say, and I think if I remember right, I'd lift in the morning at like 7. Yeah, lift at 7. It's not a heavy lift. It's just a good lift. It's not like 10 or 30. Then go to class or shower, eat breakfast, go to class from I usually have class 8:30 to like 1:30. There's some breaks in there, but I usually do 3 or 4 classes a day. And then meetings start at 2:30. You get the complex at like 2 and get situated and maybe eat lunch here and there. And then meetings start at 2:30. you meet to 3:30, 4, maybe more than that, depending on the day. And then practice starts somewhere around 5, practice for a couple hours, finish, shower, eat dinner, and then go home and do homework until you're done. That's a typical in season, I'd say.
Perfect. Ronnie, same question. Just
Yeah,
a typical day.
mine's pretty similar. What's it called? I gotta wake up in the morning. What's it called? You wake up in the morning. I got class for like, I don't know how long. It depends on if I got 1 or 2 classes that day. And then when you get done with class, you go down to the facility and we got our workout or whatever. So you work out for however many hours. And then after workout, you got meetings, or not in season, we would work out in the mornings before class. So we would work out at like 6 before class, and then I go to class. And then we go straight to the facility after class and have meetings for like an hour or a few hours, depends. And then we got practice for a couple hours as well. And then when you get done with all that, you eat dinner at the facility and then go to the academic center where you have like your mentor that you're working with, or you have like tutor appointments set up. And so you stay there from, depending on how long or how much you got to work on, but anywhere from like 7 to 10. And then you go back to your room and go to bed. That's it. Yeah.
So not a lot of free time during the actual season. A lot of time in the facility. When you're not in class, you're at the facility. True?
Right. Yeah. In season, ain't no free time.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have to go through the whole thing, but just tell me the differences between your in-season day and your off-season day. So pick a day before you guys left because of what's going on right now, and tell me about that. Ronnie, you can go first.
What's called off season, you just don't necessarily have meetings. And if you do, they're not every day. So like so you wake up, have class, whatever, and then you go work out rather than go to a meeting. And so then when your workout is done, then you just eat dinner and then you go do the academic center. And that's it.
Randen, same question.
Yeah, so off season for me is a lot different.
What you leave your bike over there for?
Most of the time, wake up at 5:30 and run at 6 until 7 for class, go to class, same amount of classes, and then same thing. But off season, you wouldn't necessarily have meetings, or you lift after class, but it's a lot more self motivated, I'd say. So for me, we don't necessarily have that much 7-on-7 of practice, but we still need to keep kicking and snapping 3 times a week is our goal as a specialist. So most of the time we meet together after classes and stuff, and I'll grab a punter and go snap to them for an hour after class, and then dinner and academic side of things. But yeah, so same thing with Ron said, academic center, tutors and mentors and all that stuff is throughout even in the summer.
All right. Next question that only applies to Randen. Ronnie, you're out on this one. What was it like being a part of a team but being a red shirt?
So I was fortunate enough that during my redshirt season, they dressed out everybody. So on the home games. So on the home games, I would be, instead of going to the hotel before the games, I would be just staying in my Jardine apartment next to the stadium, and then walk over in the morning and get ready just like I was part of the team, warm up with the team and everything like that, which was really cool. Just to see that atmosphere. And I'm really glad that I had that opportunity to do that, because I think if I was thrown into the fire, I'd be more motivated as far as not having a clue what I was doing on the game day. So I liked it, just to have a bearing and know what I was getting myself into before I was actually on the field playing.
Was there any differences in terms of practice and stuff like that, or was all the same? You just didn't travel to the road games.
Yeah, in the season, that's pretty much the exact same. I mean, you're going to be probably lower on depth chart if you're going to redshirt, so more like a scout team player. But I mean, everybody's treated pretty similarly, redshirt not. And then like with this new rule with 4 games, people are getting in games and playing, like, which coaches are messing around with that too. Like if they want to play a guy specifically for this game, they're going to make sure that he has another game left or whatever it may be.
All right, perfect. Next question is, Ronnie, we'll start with you. What are some of the things that are different now that you're actually a part of the program at Michigan as to when you were recruited or when you went on your visit? Because I think that's something that maybe a lot of people don't know, that things become different when someone's trying to sell you a car than when you drive off with it.
Yeah, I guess just the difference is just I guess I know everything. So like I'm the one that's got to take the recruits in and whatnot whenever recruits come. And so it's just kind of like roles have been flipped. The whole like taking off or buying a car, then taking off with a car, whatever. From that standpoint, everything's still the same. I guess like communication with the coaches, it's not like them recruiting you, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot different with our communication, because most of the time, you know what I'm saying, we're trying to figure out what I can put in my game, what I can't, or what I don't need to put in my game, blah, blah, blah. Like different types of conversations, I guess, with the coaches now. And then just the role being flipped of me hosting recruits rather than being the recruit.
All right. And obviously you didn't have the most typical recruiting process. So you didn't have people that were trying to recruit you for a really long period of time. Yours was pretty short and sweet from
Right.
the standpoint of Michigan. But Randen, what about you?
So I never took an official visit to K-State, but I went to their camp, and then that's where a lot of the, I guess, interchange happened with the coaches in person. So I did well at the camp, and they didn't offer me a preferred walk-on at that day, but through Twitter and stuff, I eventually was offered that. Recruiting versus, I think there wasn't a whole lot of coaxing for me because K-State's a pretty good engineering school, and that's what I wanted to do anyway. So more likely than not, I would have ended up there, football or not. I think that's another reason I'm just really happy to be where I'm at, because I think I would have been there without football, even if I didn't have it.
All right. What is Randen, you can go first on this one. What's the biggest challenge for you as a college athlete? Anything during your time at K-State that's been a challenge?
Figuring out how to manage your time. There is a lot of things to do and not a whole lot of time to get them done. So I think, but once you have that, once you're able to manage your time and know what needs to be done and when it needs to be done, then and prioritize things in your life, then I think you got to figure it out. That's one of the biggest keys to being a college athlete, in my opinion.
Ronnie, what about you? Biggest challenge?
Yeah, I can agree with that, because like just kind of being older now, and like for me especially, I'm so far away from home. I'm like damn near, or I'm almost on my own, and so like managing your time and not having, moms or dad to get on you about, do this or do that, and you having to do that yourself is probably one of the biggest like steps towards managing your time and being able to do that, because like we said, you don't get a lot of free time, but you get enough. You get enough to be able to do your schoolwork specifically, and just being able to have enough discipline within yourself to stay on top of that and make sure everything's taken care of is by far the biggest challenge.
Perfect. Those are really good answers. All right. So these are kind of tailored to our audience here, but Ronnie, we'll start with you. This could be interesting. If you could go back to your freshman year and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Shoot.
Freshman year of high school, by the way.
Eat a burger, gain some weight, most likely. And then another thing too is just remind myself just to always listen my heart, listen to myself, because I know what's best for me.
Good. Randen, what about you?
I don't know. Freshman year of high school. I think that my mom told me this a lot was grades matter, and she harped on me for a while. And I think that's what a lot of people should hear, because your GPA like count starts there, and that make or breaks a lot of future college athletes. So,
I wanna piggyback off of that. That is 100% something I would tell myself my freshman year. Get a 4.0. Because I feel like in high school, especially in high school, like it wasn't necessarily hard GPA wise to get like a 3.35 or a 3. I think like a 3.3 is what I always have.
mhm.
But like I would get that without even really trying. Like I wouldn't necessarily try and get a 4.0. And so that's something I wish that I really tried to do.
That's actually something we talked about on last week's little show about the core GPA and how if you get behind, you're kind of in trouble. So I'm glad you guys both mentioned that. So now my question is, Randen, I think you're up. If right now you are entering your senior year, what's something you wish you knew then that you know now?
I would say the amount of work that should be put in. So me going into my senior year, I was looking at colleges. I don't think I wasn't committed. Maybe I was. I don't know. But I was like looking forward to playing college football at some level. And I was working. I was working out on my own. I was snapping all the time, but I wasn't snapping the amount of times I should have a week. I wasn't putting that much effort and time that it actually does require. So whatever you think you need to be doing, do more.
Ronnie, what about you?
Same little thing again. I would tell myself just to follow my heart and just keep working and yeah, and I would have that conversation with my pops a lot sooner rather than later about me wanting to play college football.
Okay. Next question. Ronnie, obviously basketball, football, Randen, golf and football. And golf's not the most overly challenging sport. However, it is very time consuming. You can't be good at golf unless you play. So, Ronnie, you first. Why do you think being a multi-sport athlete is important, or why was it important for you?
I think it's very important, and I'd say so because just the more versatile you are, the better. The more you can do for your team, the better. The more coach can use you. And I think if you limit yourself and sell yourself short, and make sure that you're only playing one sport, like you will limit yourself and sell yourself short. I think it's like a myth that you should only play one sport because that's the sport you want to play. I think everybody should be multi-sport athletes.
Randen?
I agree with that. You're right that golf isn't very physically taxing, but I looked at golf as like a fun thing to do. I'm really glad I played golf all 4 years, but I also played basketball freshman year. I just figured out that wasn't my sport. I think along with multi-sport athlete, I was in NHS and all the execs and so a bunch of other clubs in high school. I'm glad I did that. So that was even more of a addition to your, I guess you could say, high school resume with the whole having a personality and being able to be recruited. Like if all you do is play football, that's good. But I think college coaches are looking for a personality in a recruit, if that makes sense. Being involved in their school and stuff like that. But like along with Ronnie said, being able to do more is always a good thing. And like, yeah, you can have your main sport, but playing another sport shouldn't hurt you if you do it the right way, I guess.
All right. Next question is What kind of advice would you give? Anything that you think that a student right now that wants to go play anything in college, what advice would you give to them? Randen, you're first.
School is important. GPA is important. I know it sucks, but that's number one thing for any sport. And I'd say the amount of work you put in, whatever you think it is, make it more, because I know there's somebody out there that's putting in more work than you're putting in, and that might just be the difference between you getting a spot on that football team or whatever team and them getting that spot.
Ronnie, what about you?
Yeah, first thing would definitely be in class. For whatever sport you think you plan on playing in the future, you're wasting your time if you don't have the grades. That would be the first thing I would say. And then another thing I feel like a lot of high school cats, people need to hear is like, you got to be willing to like watch your own film or whatnot, like on yourself, and be able to take criticism from, whoever's there helping you, and or be able to criticize yourself truthfully, and just be able to handle that the right way and make yourself better at your respective sport. Yeah, that's my advice.
All right. I actually, I'm sure you guys, I know Ronnie, you did. I assume Randen, you watched The Last Dance this week. Kind of what you guys were just saying was something I saw in Michael Jordan from watching that, cut from or not on the varsity basketball team. And then instead of complaining about it, worked and got better. And then when he got to college, said he's going to be the best. And he did that through working hard instead of, waiting on someone else to do things for him. So that was actually one of the coolest things about that, I thought. I threw this one in there without asking you guys, but I think, I watch a lot of football. I have a lot of connections in the football world. So I wanted to see what you said about, I think you both have the potential at your respective positions to have a shot to play on Sunday. So I want to know, do you ever think about playing in the NFL? Is that something you want to do? Is that something you think about, or are you just going to kind of sit and wait and see what happens? Randen, you can go first.
It does cross my mind sometimes. The thought is very scary to me because that is a ways away, I think. I don't think I'd leave college early to go snap. But I do think about it, and I think that it would be amazing if I could go play on Sundays. But I do also have to reality check myself every time that I'm not banking on that, because football, no matter what, eventually is going to end, and I'm here to get a degree. So school is first, but yeah, that thought crosses my mind for sure.
And the thing about your position is there's only 32 guys in the NFL, and you really don't know their names, which is the way it's supposed to be. And when you do hear their names, that's when they're being replaced, and that's when they're looking for a guy that may not be on a roster. So it's kind of a unique position. Ronnie, what about you?
I definitely think about it, and it is 100% something that I want to do. Along with Randen, I don't know if I would leave school early. I definitely plan to graduate, but it's definitely something that is on my mind. The goal.
Do you guys feel like you do anything extra because that's a goal, or is that the goal of everyone on your team in the big picture?
I about to say, for the most part, I would say that's the goal for everybody. Of course, like our collective goal together is to win and win a national championship. But individually, I feel like deep down, everybody's goal is to make it to the NFL.
Randen, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say 95% of my team has that goal. I don't think there's some people out there that are happy with their peak at college football, and they know that they're not going to make it, which is totally fine, but they're not going to give less effort, if that makes sense, just for their team, because you're right, Ron. The initial goal right now is for a Big 12 national championship, whatever it may be.
So with the draft just being 2 days away, and you guys have been through this once, what's it like to see someone that you've played with or played against in reality playing on Sundays? Like, I know, Ronnie, one of your teammates has talked about as a potential pick for the Chiefs, your center, Cesar Ruiz. But what's it like for you guys to see guys that you've played with make it, or even guys you played against where you're like, I'm just as good as that guy? What's that like?
It's just very exciting, especially for your boys that you played with. It just fires you up, and you're just very happy for them. And then, when you see guys that you played against and, ran with and whatnot, and even guys that you played with, you see them make it to the next level. The guys that you played with, you can see they show you what you got to do and what it takes to make sure that happens. And so it just excites you. It just makes you want to work even harder to be with them, play, or be like them.
Randen?
I agree with that. There's a sense of pride, I guess, and you're like so happy and excited for them. Like I remember specifically, this is a weird fact, but I was with my roommate at Applebee's when I watched Dalton Reisner get drafted to the Broncos, which was pretty cool. I was like, hey, like I can play with that guy. It's pretty sweet to be able to see that.
All right. Randen, you can go first here. Who's someone you look up to and why?
There's a lot of people to look up to in my life. Mom, dad, sister, they've all been big role models in my life, and like all the challenges that they've been through and whatever it may be, that how they handled it, not necessarily the difficulty of the challenge, but how they handled it and came out stronger in the end is something I strive to be similar to.
Ronnie?
100% on that. My mom and dad, just everything they've always done for me and my family, and just always taking care of my siblings and I. And like even like in a time like this where I'm not even supposed to be home, but I've been home for the last like month, and there's nothing that I can complain about because they are working as hard as they can to provide for us. So just definitely those two. I just want to be able to have a family and be as happy as I am now and provide for my family the way they do for me.
Perfect. There's probably some of your past teachers that may be watching, but just tell me, Ronnie, we'll start with you. Your favorite class or classes at Park Hill, and your favorite teachers at Park Hill. You don't have to be specific and leave it as one person. If you want to give a couple shout outs, that's fine. I have a pretty strong feeling I know where both of you are going to go, but Ronnie, you go first.
My favorite class would probably be my junior year, history with Coach Gorman. That was probably my favorite class. And then my favorite teacher, of course, Miss Tuck, Miss Carnes, Miss Tobin, Miss Hood, all of them, everybody. I love them.
Randen?
Teachers, a lot of them. I had Hood for sophomore year ELA, and it was a great teacher. Miss Hood for weights. Milholland was a really good class with home maintenance, and then Nikolenko with some engineering classes. DeRose, I don't think she's DeRose now, but that was Calc junior year. That was fun. Gross senior year lit, or whatever you call that class. I don't remember. ELA, I don't even know. But there's a lot of memories that like reconnecting with high school friends that we can like look back at, and those classes are cool just to think about that you're in with people and teachers.
Perfect.
I would say Mr. Fright was another one. Mm-hmm. I had him for math. I think he's like the principal or assistant principal now or something. Now he's not a math teacher no more.
No, he's one of our assistant principals now.
I about to say, but now I had him for math. I think it was my junior year or sophomore year when I was playing JV football. He was another real good teacher, and good relationship I developed with him.
Good. All right, moving on. Randen, you're first here. Through 2 years of college football, what's your best memory or your favorite moment?
Favorite moment definitely would be beating Oklahoma last year. That was pretty crazy. I grew up a Mizzou fan my whole life, and they won a big game in 2010 or whatever it made. I don't remember, but I rushed the field as a little kid, and being a player as people are rushing the field is insane. It's just like, I don't know, it's really weird. It's just jaw dropping.
Ronnie, what about you?
Going to Michigan State my freshman year and beating them, and running around their field, and then again this year beating them and running around the field. I mean, that was probably the best two memories that I've created in football.
All right. What's your favorite, Ronnie, we'll go with you first. What's your favorite sports memory at Park Hill?
When I beat my dad's record my senior year for the touchdowns, just that whole game, that whole atmosphere, the competitiveness that we were playing with as a team, we were kicking their butt. And then whenever I beat that record for my dad, or my dad's record, that was just really, really cool, and something that I always remember and think back on. It was one of the best memories that I had.
Did you know that record going throughout the season and know you were going to have a chance? Because I did not know anything about it until it happened.
No, I didn't know about it until I was close to it. And then somebody had told me what his was or something. And then that game specifically, I knew I was 2 away from tying and three away from beating him. And then I scored 3. So it was after the third one, it was really cool.
Randen, what about you?
I'd say the brotherhood that was created with our senior year. I think there was just some dudes on that team. From offense, defense, everybody was pretty locked in on a goal, and that was really cool to see. Going to the semis twice in my career was sweet. This is a funny thing. I scored a 2-point conversion as a long snapper once in a game. I don't remember. It was early, but I don't think it was legal. But I will always remember that scoring was pretty cool.
All right. That's all we have. I have not gotten any questions or anything else you guys wanted to throw in. I really appreciate your guys' time. I love you guys both. I appreciate you doing this. And obviously, you got a fan in me, and you got a fan in a lot of people at Park Hill that will continue to watch K-State and Michigan, and see you guys continue to have success and continue to represent our program in a really positive way. Is there anything else you guys have?
Thanks for having me.
Nope. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right. See you guys. Appreciate your time, and we will talk soon.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Peace out, y'all.
And as they are exiting, next week, I'm going to keep on going with this. Next week, going to kind of change the tune here. We're going to go with what it means to be a Trojan. I'll be joined by 1984 graduate and the first ever Simone winner, Jeff Kelso. I'll be joined by Paul Hansen, who graduated from Park Hill in 2001 and is now currently the head football coach at Mid-American Nazarene. And then I will also be joined by our very own Jason Agee, who graduated in 2002 from Park Hill and is obviously now on our coaching staff. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. And next week we'll kind of change gears, but I hope that you'll continue to watch. Thank you guys for your time. I hope everyone is well, and I will see you next week.